Welcome back to All This Math. This is Professor Parker. Please make sure you are subscribed to the All This Math YouTube channel. Make sure that you like this video. Make sure you share this video with somebody and drop a comment down below. And if you have a question about anything that I'm about to explain, when that question arises, please don't hesitate to drop a question in the comment section also. All right. And I also want to give a shout out to the ancestor, Thomas Sankara. Thomas Sankara was the leader of the Burkinabe Revolution out in Burkina Faso, which is in West Africa, just north of, I'm looking at my map of Africa over there. Y'all can't see it. It's just north of Ghana. Burkina Faso is just north of Ghana. It used to be called, once upon a time, the Upper Volta region. By one of its colonizers. And now it's a lot going on. This is 2025. It's a lot going on in Burkina Faso with their current leader, Ibrahim Traore, I believe the brother's name is. So that's something to pay attention to. But definitely do your research and learn your history about Thomas Sankara. Thomas Sankara. They go a picture of him right here. Definitely somebody for you to look into. All right. Now, HSPT math, high school placement test math for eighth graders attending Catholic schools and other parochial schools. This is yet another example of the type of question that they may see. All right, let's first read it. 15 is what percent of 20? 15 is what percent of 20? This is a basic percentage question that everybody should know how to do. All right. No matter what school you go to, whether you go to a Catholic school, other parochial school, charter school, public school, whether you homeschool, people should just, responsible human beings should know how to answer this question. 15 is what percent of 20? So if you don't already know, you came to the right place because you're about to learn now. 15 is what percent of 20? So it's a few ways that we could do this. I think I'm going to do this problem a couple different ways. I think I'm going to use the green marker. So 15 is what percent of 20? So one way to do this is we could translate this into an algebraic equation, right? Again, mathematics is a language, right? It's got different, related languages within it. Algebra is a language, geometry is a language, trigonometry, pre-calculus, calculus, statistics, all that. They are their own languages, right? Under the umbrella of mathematics. Math, we should understand how to read it, how to speak it, how to write it. So we should be able to translate this sentence from the English language into a mathematical equation. All right. So we start out with the number 15. Number 15, we don't, translate that per se. It's like in the Spanish language, we say no, right? In the English language, we say no, right? Same word. All right. Two different languages. So we got 15. Then the word is, that translates to an equal sign. Is translates to an equal sign. All right. What percent? What? Right? What? What is an unknown? So we pick a variable. You might pick X. X is pretty popular. But let's not pick X. Let's pick W. Let's pick W because you might want to use X for your multiplication sign. All right. And you don't want to have X for your variable and X for your multiplication sign. You don't want to have both. All right. So let's say W. W is the number we don't know. Now, percent. Percent, everybody don't do it this way, but I do this. I represent the word percent by multiplying by 0.01. Multiplying by 0.01. That's percent, right? Out of 100. This is 100th. Out of 100. That's what the word percent means. Out of 100. So out of 100 represented by 0.01. So we're multiplying W, our unknown, by 0.01. All right. And then of, the word of means multiply. So we multiplying again, right? And then the number 20 translates just to the number 20. So we got parentheses and 20. That's another way to represent multiplication. We could have put the dot, could have put the X, right? Could have put an asterisk, but I chose to just use the parentheses, juxtapose, no symbol in between. All right. So now what we got here? We got 15 is equal to W times 0.01 times 20. Let's simplify this right here. Our goal is to isolate W by itself. If we approach this algebraically, our goal is to isolate W by itself. So let's first simplify this part. Let's combine these two by multiplication. So we got 15 is equal to W times 0.2, right? 0.2. Is that right? Yeah, 20 times 0.01. Yeah, 20 pennies. Yeah, because 20 pennies. Because 0.01, I'm thinking about this like, logically, right? 0.01, let's think about money. 0.01 is 1 penny. or 1 cent. 1 cent times 20. 1 cent times 20 is 20 cent. And point 0.2 is equivalent to 20 cent. All right. So 15 is equal to W times point 0.2. Now I'm trying to solve for W, so I got to get rid of the point 0.2. You get rid of a number in an equation by doing the opposite operation from what that number is currently doing. W times point 0.2 means that the point 0.2 is being multiplied. It's being multiplied. So ask yourself, what's the opposite of multiplication? It's division. So that's what you do to get rid of it. You divide by point 0.2. But in algebra, we're always balanced. Whatever we do on the right-hand side, we must also do on the left-hand side. Divide by 0.2 on the right. Divide by 0.2 on the left. Bring the equal sign down. You got your W. 15 divided by 0.2. So the question becomes, what is division, right? A lot of us know how to divide, but we don't really know what division actually is conceptually. And I used to be one of them people, right? What this means is how many 0.2s can fit into 15? How many 0.2s can fit into 15? Now think about that for a minute. Do you know how many 0.2s can fit into the number 1? 5 of them, because 0.2 times 5 equals 1. 0.2, like I said, if we was thinking about money, 0.2 is the same thing as 20 cent. Isn't 20 cent times 5 equal to $1? It is. So that means that 0.2 fits into 1 5 times. Now, if we're trying to see how many 0.2s fit into 15, we would just do 1 time. Isn't 1 times 15 equal to 15? So that means we got 0.2 fitting into 1 5 times for 1, 5 times for another one, 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 and so on until we got 15 of them. So can't we just do 5 times 15? Isn't that going to give us our answer? 5 times 15? I'm going to run that back. Doesn't 0.2 fit into 1 5 times? Because 0.2 plus 0.2 plus 0.2 plus 0.2 plus 0.2 equals 1. 0.2, then 0.4, 0.6, 0.8, and 1. 20 cent, 40 cent, 60 cent, 80 cent, $1. That's 5. I got 5 fingers up, right? This is not an optical illusion. I got 5 fingers up because 0.2 goes into 1 5 times. But doesn't 1 go into 15 times? So imagine you got the 0.2 going into 1 once, and then another 1. Now you're up to 5 more times. Now you're up to 2. Then 5 more times. Now you're up to 3. Then 5 more times. Now you're up to 4. Then 5 more times. And you're up to 5. And so on and so forth until you get to 15. But a shorter way to do that is just say, okay, well, if 0.2 goes into 1 5 times, or fits into 1 5 times, then we do 5 times the 15. And what's 5 times 15? Make sure you know your multiplication facts. 5 times 15 is 75. 5 times 15 is 75. If you break 15 down into 10 and 5, 10 times 5 is 50. 5 times 5 is 25. 50 plus 25 is 75. So that means that 0.2 can fit into 15 75 times. 75 times. So that means that the answer to our question is that 15 is 75% of 20. 15 is 75% of 20. Right? That's one way to do it. All right. But we got some time. I'm going to show you another way. Let's do it another way. All right. So let's say we wanted to set this up like a proportion. A lot of teachers teach it like this. They do the whole is over of. Matter of fact, let's switch the color up since we're using a different method. They do the whole let's do purple and green, like mystery mix annihilators from back in the day. The grape and the apple, grape and the apple. All right. What was that, grape and lime? I don't really remember. But anyway, they do a lot of teachers teach it this way. I've taught it this way before. Is over of is equal to percentage over 100. Is over of is equal to percentage over 100. This is good to memorize, right? It's another good method. All right. So now we got to replace 2 of these numbers and leave 1 unknown, because that's what we're trying to figure out. If we knew all 3 values, right, is, of, and the percentage, we wouldn't have nothing to figure out. We wouldn't have nothing to solve for. All right, so let's go back to the question. It says 15 is. 15 is. 15 is. So therefore, we replace the word is with the number 15. So on our next step, second line, you know what I'm saying? Like down in New Orleans, with the parades and all that. You know what I mean? Second line, this is our first line. Then we got the second line. Of is what percent of 20? So we replace the word of with 20. Of is 20. So we replace is with 15 because it says 15 is, right? 15 is. We go to our second line. 15 is. Of is 20. Replace of with 20. Replace is with 15. Replace of with 20. Why? Because of how the question reads. 15 is of 20, right? Now it says what percent, meaning a percentage we don't know. Let's use the same variable as before. And then we got over 100. So now we still doing algebra, right? We just got an equation that's set up. It looks a little different with our equation, the way it's set up. This is called a proportional equation, where you got a fraction equal to another fraction. You got a fraction equal to another fraction. This is what we call a proportional equation. Now, in order to solve this, what I like to do is what I call the Malcolm X method, right? Because we go in an X formation to eliminate the fractions. X formation to eliminate the fractions. 20 times W. The product is 20W. Bring your equal sign down. Then we got 15 times 100. Now you could write 15 times 100, or you could just do the multiplication. What's 15 times 100? 1500. So now we got a straight up equation with no fractions. We eliminated the fractions. Now we want to solve for W. So we got to get rid of this 20. Question is how? How do you get rid of the 20? You do the opposite operation for what that 20 is doing. 20W means 20 times W. That's multiplication. Ask yourself, what's the opposite of multiplying? Division. So that's what you got to do. Divide by 20. And we stay balanced. If we do it on the left side, we do it on the right side. We're going to divide by 20. Now, 20 divided by 20 is 1. And that gives us 1W. Now, 1W, again, the language of math. Know how to read it, speak it, write it. Language of math. You need to know that 1W is the same thing as W. 1W is the same thing as just plain W, because that's how many W's you got. You got one of them. All right. So we got W is equal to, now, what's 1500 divided by 20? How many 20s can fit into 1500? How many 20s can fit into 1500? All right. Now, a couple ways to do that. I could say, well, I know 20 goes into 100 5 times, and 100 goes into 1500 15 times. So that would be 5 times 15, just like the first way we did it. Right? With the 0.2, how many 0.2s going to 15? Look at the relationship. Notice it's the same relationship, just with different numbers, right? So we're going to get 75 again anyway, but let's look at this. Can I just cancel out the zeros that match up? The 0 on the end with this 0. Now we got 150 divided by 2. Now, if you know a little bit about division, you know 150 divided by 2, like what's half of 150? Let's say you go to the store, you want to buy a jacket that's regular price $150, or some sneaks, regular price $150, but they 50% off. How much are you about to save? You need to know what 150 divided by 2 is. This is real life math. This is consumer math. This is financial literacy. You need to know what 150 divided by 2 is with no calculator. You don't need no calculator for that. You don't need no chat GPT for that. You got a brain. You don't know how to use your brain. You need to know how to do this type of math. 150 divided by 2, that's 75. You need to know that. So once again, we got 75%. All right. So either way you slice it, you're going to get 75%. All right. So I just broke it down a couple different ways. Translate the question into an equation and solve. Right. This is the first way I learned how to do this back in the day. All right. Then I learned this later. All right. I think I like teaching this way better though. The is over of equals percent over 100. That's good to remember. And then just plug the numbers in where they belong, you know. But it requires you understanding how to comprehend a word problem. Because this is a short word problem. That's what it is. A one sentence word problem. That's what it is. You got to know how to comprehend it to know how to put the numbers in the right places. That's what you got to do. That's your responsibility with a question like this. But you need to know, like, this is money right here. Like 15 is what percent of 20. You need to understand percentages, right? If you don't understand percentages, you're going to get taken advantage of. You're going to get robbed. And you ain't even going to know it. You're not even going to dig it. I'm trying to tell you, right? That's why you really need to lock into this channel. I'm trying to save lives out here. Like real talk, right? So 75%. So 15 is 75% of 20. Also because 15 out of 20 is 3/4. Let me tell you another thing. 15 out of 20 is 3/4. 3/4 is equivalent to 0.75. 0.75 is equivalent to 75%. So we need to understand fractions like backwards and forwards. We need to understand decimals backwards and forwards. We need to understand percentages backwards and forwards. All right. So we see a question like this, make sure you know what to do. All right. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure you drop a comment down below. All right. If you still have a question, that's cool. Drop a question down below. All right. Share this video with somebody else. And last but not least, if you didn't already, like the video. Go ahead and like the video. All right. And remember, Thomas Sankara, do your research on Thomas Sankara. All right. Peace.